Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing European outlook for today's second video. So as always on a Thursday, having a look at the weather next week, 10 days in detail across Europe, and I shall get on with that for you very shortly. Just say that the first video today was our 7 AM broadcast. We've got a 10 to 14 day with all our break features coming up for you later on this afternoon. So please like, share, subscribe on all of the videos. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Excuse me. Right, so here we go. I'm going to start off with the situation across Europe today. So low pressure is dominating across the west of Europe. We've got a deep area of low pressure to the northwest of Scotland. That's bringing wet and windy weather into Ireland and the UK. Going further southwards though, there's a ridge of high pressure extending in from the Azores through France and then pushing northwards and eastwards as well. So actually many parts of Europe are still under high pressure, but the high pressure is gradually being weakened, eroded and broken down by low pressure from the Atlantic. So with the upper air temperature today, we see that it's generally a cooler scene across most parts of Europe now. We have descended into autumn pretty much everywhere. Even where we're under centre of this ridge across Eastern Europe, it's not particularly warm. Southern Europe is still hanging on to some warmth, especially southern parts of Spain and Portugal. Still quite hot there, but generally temperatures have cooled down a lot across most parts of Europe now. And in terms of precipitation, it's actually quite a lot of dry weather around today, as most areas of Europe are under high pressure. Obviously, with pretty wet and windy across Ireland and the UK, with wind and rain extending towards Denmark, some parts of Norway, and also Sweden as well. North and east of that is mainly dry, but quite cold. We have got a band of rain through eastern parts of Poland. Dry on either side of that, wet weather. Most of western and southwestern Europe, from West Poland down to Spain and Portugal, looking dry. And there's a few showers around Italy and extending over the Adriatic towards the southeastern corner of the Mediterranean. Temperature-wise, it's relatively cool, especially across northern Europe. Actually quite cold across many parts of Scandinavia. Temperatures into single digits in many of those areas. Going further southwards, it does get warmer as we come down into the Mediterranean. We see temperatures into the mid-20s Celsius across many parts of there, but obviously a lot cooler than it was a few weeks ago. Right, tomorrow low pressure deepens across northern and western parts of Scotland. That brings more wet and windy weather into the west of Europe. At the same time, high pressure recedes back to western parts of Russia. Starts to bring up quite a warm southerly or quite a warm southerly wind. So the upper air temperature begins to lift up a little bit across the northern and eastern parts of Europe. Cool out in the northwest. Hottest upper air temperatures though are down in the Mediterranean. Have this band of wet and windy weather pushing from Ireland and the UK into northern France, the Low Countries, just into western parts of Germany, and also through Denmark and into southern Norway and Sweden as well. A few showers breaking out across other parts of Scandinavia. Then most other areas of Europe are dry. 1 or 2 road showers here and there, but a lot of dry weather to come. A few heavy showers from the central bowl of the Mediterranean, perhaps. Temperature-wise, we're looking like this. So relatively warm across southern parts of Europe again. Temperatures into the mid-20s Celsius through the Med. Quite cool, though, in the west, especially through Scotland and Ireland. Temperatures taking a little bit of a tumble through there. Scandinavia is still looking pretty cold, although the far east and northeast Europe perhaps getting a little bit milder there. Into Saturday, we've got a deepening area of low pressure, bringing wet and windy weather, perhaps quite stormy weather, into northern parts of France and southern parts of England. Wet across Ireland as well. Going further eastwards, we have this ridge sitting across West Europe, but again, that's pulling up the southerly winds across northern and eastern parts of Europe. So those upper air temperatures are lifting up in the north and the east of Europe with those southerly winds. Actually, we see the upper air temperatures also lifting up a little bit through parts of Germany and France, trying to get that warmth in towards the UK, but of course we're dominated by the low pressure, so that keeps the warmer upper air temperatures at bay. Really still quite cool actually for the UK and Ireland. I mean, of course, the hottest temperatures are down through the Mediterranean. Again, Spain actually looks quite hot. Perhaps a lift up in the temperature there, going into the upper 20 Celsius, perhaps through parts of eastern Spain in particular. Generally quite warm through the Mediterranean too. Precipitation-wise, of course, most parts of Europe are still dominated by that high pressure that's in the East Europe and west of Russia. So many areas are looking dry, but there is this mass of wet and windy weather through the Bay of Biscay, perhaps just fringing into northern Spain, in towards northern and western France and into the Low Countries, and then again particularly affecting Ireland and the UK, looking very wet, windy there on Saturday. Showers further northwards across Scandinavia and a few showers through the central bowl of Mediterranean, but the emphasis is really on dry weather through most parts of the Med. Temperature-wise, pretty hot across southern parts of Europe, or certainly warm. Temperatures into the mid to possibly for Spain, upper 20 Celsius. Going further northwards, it's actually quite mild through the central and eastern parts of Europe. Temperatures into at least a mid-teens Celsius through Germany and Poland, for example. But cooler across the northwest of Europe. Again, Scandinavia looks pretty cold. And the UK and Ireland temperatures looking quite dismal there, barely scraping into double digits with all about wet and windy weather. Right, we get through into Sunday, and again, the emphasis is really between the high pressure in the east and the low pressure in the west. So much of Western Europe looking cool, showery, strong winds coming in off the Atlantic, bringing lots of showers through there. We've got the high pressure across western Russia, and in between the high and the low, we're bringing up again that southerly wind across many central, eastern, and northern parts of Europe. So, really pulled some extensive warm out of the Mediterranean into some western and central parts of Europe. Germany, for example, really seeing upper air temperatures lifting up there on Sunday with those southerly winds. And that warmth is extending up into Scandinavia and also into the far east of Europe. At the same time, it remains pretty cool, though, in the west. So, again, for Ireland, for the UK, for many parts of France, and also to some degree, even down into northern western parts of Spain and Portugal, relatively cool upper air temperatures there. Pretty warm through the Med and over towards the eastern side and southeast side of Europe as well. Here's that band of rain that marks the boundary between the warmer upper air temperatures to the east and the cooler temperatures to the west. So yes, got heavy rain, maybe some thunderstorms extending through Spain and up through France. Could be some flooding with that. The wet weather also extends through Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, just getting in towards western parts of Germany, and then through Denmark into Sweden and Norway as well. To the east of that, it's mainly dry. A few showers down here across the southern part of Italy and into the central part of the Mediterranean. But overall, again, the Med does look pretty dry, as does many eastern parts of Europe. Temperature-wise, looking like that, so warm through most parts of Med, but cooling down through Spain and Portugal. Cool through many western northern parts of France, Ireland, the UK, and also northern and western Scandinavia. But east of that, pretty warm. So Germany could see the temperature going up to like low 20 Celsius there, and into Poland as well. And generally quite a warm or mild scene across eastern parts of Europe too. Okay, so that takes us into Monday, and again, we've got this battle going on between high pressure across west parts of Europe. This high pressure has given all of the hot and dry weather through most of September to most parts of Europe, but now it's receded back into Russia by a much more active Atlantic, sort of forcing it back. But it is still there, and it is still bringing the warmth up the eastern side of Europe now, and into northeastern parts of Europe. At the same time, out in the west, we're looking much cooler and much more unsettled as the air is driving in from the North Atlantic Ocean. Upper air temperatures show that a surge of warmth through central parts of the Med and then extending up into northern and eastern and northeastern parts of Europe with those very mild upper air temperatures. Out in the west, it's looking quite a lot cooler with the air coming in from off the Atlantic. The hottest temperatures have moved from Spain and Portugal in towards Corsica, Sardinia, also into Italy and over the Adriatic into the Balkans as well. That's where we've got the highest upper air temperatures on Monday. Heavy showers and thunderstorms through southern and southeast parts of France in towards northern and also western parts of Italy, again possibly affecting Corsica and Sardinia. More showers or longer spells of rain through the UK and Ireland, possibly into northern and western parts of France. And then we find that wet weather actually dies out over Germany before intensifying as we come up into Scandinavia, leaving much of east and northeast Europe mainly dry. On Monday, temperature-wise, we look like that. So again, pretty cool in the far northwest of Europe. Otherwise, relatively warm, especially so for the central, eastern and southeast parts of Europe, with temperatures widening into the 20s Celsius. Tuesday sees this area of low pressure sitting right over top of UK and Ireland, so it suggests that the very unsettled weather goes on for the west of Europe. At the same time, high pressure over Scandinavia is possibly starting to win the battle a little bit and beginning to move a little bit further westwards, but still keeping wind in from like a very mild or warm southerly southeasterly direction from many northern and eastern parts of Europe anyway on Tuesday. Upper air temperatures looking generally quite warm across the east of Europe, cooler out in west. Some of the hottest upper air temperatures are through the Med and into the southeastern part of Europe, of course. Precipitation-wise, going to be plenty of showers or longer spells of rain across the western part of Europe with that deep area of low pressure sitting over UK and Ireland. So it'll take a band of heavy rain through the UK and down in towards the Low Countries through Belgium, Holland, and the Netherlands, and into France as well. At the same time, you still have the old weather front marking the boundary here through Scandinavia, extending down through Germany and into southeastern parts of Europe. You know, some heavy rain with that. And on the eastern side of that, it's mainly dry with high pressure continuing to dominate. So coolest temperatures in the west and in the northwest, warmest temperatures are in the east, especially in the southeastern corner, again around Italy, into the Balkans, and then down towards Greece and Turkey. That's where the warmest weather will be through the early part of next week. Wednesday, next week, we look like that. So just generally quite an unsettled scene. I think gradually with time, we're seeing more low pressure sort of breaking through into the central parts of Europe as well. So the warmth is being sort of squashed down into the southeast of Europe, I think, by the time we get through to Wednesday. Otherwise, seeing a bit of a drop in the temperature across northern parts of Europe. And the west, of course, it never particularly warms up there, so it just stays relatively cool across western parts of Europe. And gradually with time, you notice that showers and longer spells of rain are breaking out across many parts of Europe by the middle of next week. So by the middle of next week, quite a wet scene, really, all the way from France and the UK and Ireland in the west, right way over towards Poland, for example, not quite making it into Ukraine at this point, and like Latvia, Estonia, just about managing to hang on to dry weather. But I think with time we are seeing this increasingly unsettled weather pushing further and further east. So even down into the Mediterranean, some heavy showers breaking out through central and eastern parts of the Med. Spain and Portugal looking mainly dry away from the north. Temperature-wise, cool in the west and in the northwest. Warmest temperatures are in the east, especially in the southeastern corner, where warmth is gradually being squashed down. And then into Thursday, we look like that. So low pressure is digging then into the southeastern part of Europe, and more low pressure deepening in the Atlantic. That low is the remains of ex-Hurricane Sam. Looks like it's going to bring some wet and windy weather back into the West of Europe. High pressure trying to build, though, across France, Spain, and Portugal. So trying to settle down a little bit there. Upper air temperatures, we see the cooler upper air temperatures actually being pushed a little bit further northwards and eastwards. At the same time, the west of Europe gets a little bit warmer as we have the remnants of Sam, you know, pushing some warmth into the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean. Precipitation-wise, very unsettled by the end of next week. So this is Thursday next week. And you can see that widely across many northern, western, and also eastern parts of Europe, we've got outbreaks of rain and or heavy showers and thunderstorms. The exception is in the southwest, so through Spain, Portugal, just about up into France. Turns a little bit drier there under the ridge of high pressure. That does extend in towards the central part of the Mediterranean. Quite cold in northern and eastern parts of Europe, but trying to get warmer in the southwest with that ridge from the Azores high. Cooling down from the central and eastern parts of Europe as well by Thursday. I'll just run you on today 10. This is Friday next week. So high pressure then is sitting across the southwestern part of Europe, although still quite unsettled in the northwest of Europe through the end of next week. And then on into weekend of the 9th and the 10th of October. Again, that ridge has a go at getting going across this southern, southwestern part of Europe. But it is a relatively weak and flimsy ridge. It probably brings some drier weather through many central and west and southwest parts of Europe through next weekend. At the same time, though, more low pressure coming back in towards the far northwest. So Scandinavia may have a swipe of quite cold air from the Arctic to North Scandinavia. Winter could start to bite there with some snow across northern Scandinavia. And Ireland and the UK probably having more outbreaks of rain, which are likely to extend in towards perhaps the Low Countries, northern France and Germany with time. Right, so that's European outlook for this week. So the most unsettled weather is clearly in the west. Eastern, northeast parts of Europe dominated by high pressure at the moment, and we will have these southerly winds as well, keeping things quite mild. As we go through the next week, we're going to find the more unsettled weather, gradually extending further eastwards across Europe. So by sort of the middle and latter part of next week, it looks pretty unsettled in most areas, although high pressure will have a go at building into the west and the southwest. Right, so that's it for European Outlook this week. We'll do it all over again next Thursday, of course. We're going to be back shortly. We get down to 14 hour. We'll include all of the regular features, so come back for that then. This week's European Outlook, though, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.